Hi, this is Igor from hdhead.com. I have a new preset I'd like to show you and also give you a couple of tips on basic color correction balancing. Here's the preset. We can change the size of this crop. We can move it left and right. We can move it up and down. And we can also make the background disappear or bring it back up. So what is this preset used for? Well, it's used to select an area of the screen you'd like to measure on the scope. So for example, if you just want to measure the magenta on your scope, you narrow down the area and turn off the background, and that will give you an accurate reading of that one little rectangle. How do we use this preset on an actual shot? I'll show it to you on an example from the Colombian feature film Lo Azul del Cielo, directed by Juan Uribe, who was very generous to let me use this clip for the purpose of the tutorial. If you look at the shot, the way the color is set up right now, the way it's balanced, it looks a little lifeless. The skin color is just not right. You could work on this shot just looking at this one frame, and it's like you could do a pretty good job. But if you had a pure black and pure white reference somewhere in the shot, you could balance those out on your scope. If you look at the RGB parade, you know where the blacks are, you know where the whites are. So if you bring those to the same level, this will be pure white, this will be pure black down here. But where do you find the black and white reference? The production slate is a good place. If you select a clip, and if this is a file-based show, not a tape-based show, because on a tape-based show, your clip length would be just what's seen on the timeline plus a little bit of handles. But if you're working with files, it's likely that you have the entire take from the time the camera was started until it stopped. Right now I'm using DPX files, so I do have the head of the shot. With the clip selected, you go down here, make sure that clip is enabled. Timeline is, the radio button is switched on by default, but you want to be in clip mode. Select the source field, copy it with Control-C on the keyboard. Type in 0, press enter, and you'll go to the beginning of the shot. Now you see the slate, and because we copied this timecode, we can restore the position of the clip at any time by selecting the field and pasting with Control-V. We'll go back. To make this really fast when you work, you can also change your Wacom tablet express keys, which I do very often, and there's a tutorial solely on that subject on customizing Wacom keys. I always have copy and paste, and for this purpose I've modified copy to give me a keystroke of Control-C, so that's copy. 0, that types in 0 timecode, it takes the clip to the beginning, and enter to accept the timecode 0. So if I select the clip, select the field, hit the key on the Wacom tablet, it takes me to the beginning, select this back, and push paste, and it takes me back. It's really fast. When you're color correcting, you can just toggle back and forth instantaneously. Let's see how we're going to color correct it. So I'll take the clip to the color corrector, select the clip, select the field, go to the beginning of the clip, and let's bring in spot color checker. I'm going to move it a little bit down to just to see the area of the slate that has black and white stripes. And it's okay that we're catching a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow. Actually, there's red down here on this number 2. It's fine because it's a very small area. We won't really confuse us on the scope. You can turn off the background completely, but even if you don't, you will clearly tell on the scope where that is because the amplitude of that signal will be a lot lower. Even on the screen without a scope, you can see that this has a lot of blue and green tints to it. Let's go to the color corrector. There are many different ways you can balance out color in the shot. I'm not going to say that one is better than the other, but in this case I'm going to use the RGB tab to counteract green and blue contamination in the shot. I will just bring red up to about there. So if we toggle back and forth, you can see the difference. This looks a lot better. And now I can bypass or I can delete the spot color checker. It's done its job. Here's our shot. I'm going to select the clip, select the field, paste our original timecode value. You can see this looks a lot better than it used to be. That's before and after, before, after. So this is a well-balanced shot, a good starting point for your color correction. Your skin tone is pretty close to where it needs to be, so you can take it from there. When you use this method of color balancing, usually you need to do this only one time per a scene setup. If one camera is used, sometimes twice if they're A and B cameras. Because once you establish the offset that you need, then you can save the color correction setting and apply it to all the other clips in the scene, so you don't have to do it for each one of them. Let's take a look at how this preset actually works. The good thing about it is that it works at any frame size. It's just basically 1 DVE. Watch what happens down here with the crop controls of the DV as I move size. See, we're cropping in. And if I pan to the left, only the left and right crop are moving. If I pan up and down, only top and bottom are moving. They're all very similar. If you look at one of them, all the other ones use similar math. Go inside the expression editor. The reason why this works at any size is because we're using FY and FX values that return the size of the current sequence. To download the color spot checker, you can visit hdhead.com. This effect will work with any DS version 10.